There's an old joke, pointed, bitter, and oddly instructive. How does a Jew say screw you? Trust me. It cuts deeper than cynicism. It's a lesson in epistemology, the study of how we come to believe what we believe. Because belief is not born of reason. It is engineered. The architects of modern orthodoxy, the bureaucrat, the financier, the soft-spoken academic who never breaks a rule unless it benefits his funding, have mastered this art. And their tools, they are no longer clubs and prisons. They do not burn books. They footnote them to death. Their method is precise. Obscure, simple mechanics with complex vocabulary. Replace observable cause with abstract systems. Redefine coercion as care. Where Orwell warned of doublethink, we now live under its bureaucratic cousin, plausible contradiction. The lie is no longer shouted. It is whispered, credentialed, peer-reviewed. And the genius of the design, it begins with trust. Not trust in individuals, they can be rotated out, but trust in the proposition, in the unspoken axiom, in the truth you never questioned because it was there before you could speak. Once that axiom is planted, the Fed stabilizes markets, GDP measures progress, currency must be centralized. Then everything unfolds automatically, by your own logic. Because once the axiom is installed, your reasoning becomes the prison guard. That is the epistemic exploit. Anchoring, as Cialdini showed, shaped belief by controlling what comes first. Confirmation bias, as Kahneman and Tversky proved, let emotions select the evidence. No violence, no law, only that you think in the terms they gave you. And you won't notice it. Not until the day you argue passionately against your own interest, cite sources you never read, defend a system that would quietly erase you, so long as it did so with good optics, because the cage wasn't made of iron, it was built of inference, and the lock was trust. Where is this most weaponized? Finance. The fiat system runs on a single exploit. Trust the Fed, trust the Treasury, trust the dollar. But the underlying axiom, money is what the government says it is, was not debated, it was not voted on, it was installed, quietly, without your consent. And so it became truth by repetition, not by reason. All while your purchasing power evaporates year by year like a puddle in policy sunlight. Enter Yuval Noah Harari, the salon favorite intellectual, the soft focus historian, always TED ready, always camera safe. He once said, smoothly, Bitcoin is the currency of distrust. It's tidy, it's elegant, and it's exactly backward. Because what Harari is asking you to accept, without saying it aloud, is a false axiom. Trust in institutions is rational and good. Therefore, distrusting them is irrational, even dangerous. That is not analysis, it is epistemic sleight of hand, the very kind Orwell warned us about. Because once you swallow that frame, then decentralization sounds like extremism. Self-custody becomes selfish, and consent looks like sedition, but this frame collapses on contact with logic. Governments do not accidentally mismanage, they are incentivized to mismanage and to make you pay the price. This is not a conspiracy, it is system design, hard-coded into modern governance, debase the currency, borrow against the unborn, export inflation to the public. These are not accusations, they are predictions, confirmed, quantified, and long since formalized by public choice theory, mechanism design, game theory, and agency theory. There is no serious academic dissent, no caveats, no debate. These dynamics are as established as gravity. In 1994, a paper co-authored by Eric Maskin, Nobel-winning economist at Harvard, stated plainly, in environments characterized by strategic uncertainty and asymmetric information, agents naturally prefer to trade using intrinsically verifiable commodities rather than rely on promises issued by potentially dishonest counterparties. Translation: gold didn't rise because people were paranoid, it rose because it was hard to fake. Bitcoin didn't arise because people distrust institutions. It arose because institutional trust became non-viable. That is not philosophy. It is a rational epistemic update in response to structural failure. And Harari, he's not just wrong. Name the thinkers: Kahneman, Simon, Akerlof, Spence, Stiglitz, Williamson, Buchanan, North, Holmstrom, Hurwitz, Maskin, Meyerson, Nash, Samuelson, and von Neumann. These are not fringe theorists. They are the foundation, and Harari's phrase, currency of distrust, contradicts all of them. So let us be fair. Either he doesn't understand the system he critiques, or he does, and prefers that you don't. Reciting stale liturgies to a congregation that no longer benefits, while the pulpit still does. Bitcoin is not the currency of distrust. It is the antibody to an epistemic virus, long known, long measured, long institutionalized. And Harari, he is not a philosopher, he is a symptom, an eloquent vector for the most dangerous idea of the modern age. That institutional trust is earned by tradition, not by truth. Let us be just, then precise. Harari's error is not personal, it is structural. His framing, whether born of ignorance or allegiance, inverts the epistemic order. It pathologizes vigilance, it sanctifies obedience. That is not disagreement. That is betrayal of cognitive integrity. Because once citizens are taught that skepticism is pathology and trust is a virtue, even in systems designed to exploit it, the population stops being governed and starts being managed. It is regression, weaponized. Decentralized finance doesn't exist because we distrust institutions. It exists because institutions, by design, cannot be trusted. Structurally, they are incentive machines engineered to externalize cost, obscure failure, and monetize dependence. If George Washington entered politics today, he'd be devoured by the machine, or corrupted by it faster than Boss Tweed. Trust isn't virtue, it's the attack surface. He confuses trust with truth. TNT Bank doesn't ask for your trust, it doesn't even allow it. Because trust is the flaw bad actors exploit. And TNT? Every transaction double-signed by sender and recipient, no unapproved funds, no ransomware, no surprise deposits, no inference, no ambiguity, only perfect information, perfect auditability, zero implicit assumptions. This isn't branding, this is design. TNT isn't trustless for effect. It's trustless because trust is how they compromised you. A bearer water bond is not a bet on the dollar, not a bet on belief, and not a synthetic financial instrument. It is a digital bearer asset, backed by clean, drinkable spring water. Redeemable at the source, immutable, transferable, and real. TNT Bank Plus BWBs is the first system engineered to eliminate the epistemic exploit from finance, ensure every transaction is consensual and reversible, if not, and anchor digital money in physical reality, not in belief. Strip a BWB to its core, remove the water, remove the contract, remove the smart code, remove the security key that stops an Iranian blackmailer from sending you $10 million in Bitcoin and leaving you to explain it to the FBI. What remains? A consensus system where theft is asymptotically impossible. Why? Because every validator must approve. Not 51%, not a stake-weighted quorum, all of them. That makes TNT Bank more secure than Bitcoin, proof of stake, and any permissionless chain. Because in TNT, fraud is mathematically impossible without universal collusion, even without the water, even without the smart contracts. Even stripped to the bone, TNT is a better Bitcoin. Faster settlement, lower double spend risk, and zero epistemic exposure. Because every lie that matters is upstream from logic. Every scam begins with a false axiom, and every fiat collapse started with the same phrase, "This will hold." TNT Bank doesn't just fix financial rails, it fixes the reasoning. And in a world drowning in bad premises, that might be the only thing that saves us. TNT Bank, where TNT means true no trust, powered by transparent network technologies. Every transaction is a scheme L function. Every claim in the white paper, formally provable, or in the Koch theorem proverb, because in our system, code is law. But logic is sovereign, and sovereignty